Okay, the recording has been started. Let's kickstart the open house today. Um, my name is Gurpreet. As you guys know me through our one-to-one calls before you got enrolled in the trials. This is a passion project for me. I started this in 2023 with my own son and 7 or 8 of his friends, and then it expanded last year with 24 students in this program. Right. Otherwise, my regular job is as a director of product management in a company called Ring Central. That's what I do, my day job, and this is mostly my evening side hustle. Couple of days a week is what I want to do it. Right. And if you see our track record, 2023, again, we started with a small set of 8 students, all neighbors, basically, right? My son and all my neighbors, we started this. And then 2024, we expanded to 24 students. And it has been a very successful program. And I'll give you some of the reasons behind why it's been so successful with my experience with the students. Let me see if somebody else has joined. Okay, got it. So I'm going to go through the slides quickly, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat or wait till the end of the presentation. Most of the questions are going to get answered through the slides, but if you have any more, please feel free to type or ask me in the end. I want to devote at least 20 minutes for any Q&A, so I will just quickly skim through all these slides which you have already seen. This is the students who got selected in my last year program, and Vihan Bhatnagar, who is the only student who got selected in AET, AOS, and TJ, will be here today to speak about his experience in these classes. Overall, if you see, I know this is just an Academies of Loudoun batch, but these are our AET, AOS, as well as TJ results for the last 2024 batch. Now, again, we have 11 waitlisted students, 9 selected students. And still, what happens is till the actual schools open in August, there are still maybe some more chances for the waitlisted students to get converted, right? So maybe a couple of, I believe maybe 1 or 2 more will get selected when August comes in, right? But right now the dust is kind of settled. Whoever wanted to join TJ has selected TJ, but some of them may not have rejected Academies of Loudoun calls. So there will be some turbulence come August. So there will be some movements around with the waitlisted students. Again, I will not spend too much time on this one. You guys can go to our page in Google Business, check out the reviews on the program, especially on this particular program. These are the screenshots from the personal WhatsApp, which parents normally send me. Some of them are actually Google reviews, some of them are WhatsApp. So please go ahead and check out, and happy to answer any questions after this session. Now coming to the important topics, right? The reason I wanted to have this open house. Number one, what is the test format and eligibility? Number two, how this program works, right? These are the 2 things I would like to spend a little bit more time. Okay, so this is the criteria. So normally what will happen is when the schools open in August, LCPS will organize they also call it Academies of Loudoun open houses, where they call in all the parents and they will tell you the exact same details that I'm going to tell you right now, right? So that is the time when the registrations open, right? But the details does not change a lot. Last few years, this basically is the eligibility criteria, and these are the parameters they actually take into consideration for the admissions in Academies of Loudoun, right? So there are 2 programs. One is AET, other one is AOS. One is focused on engineering and technology. Other one is focused on science, right? Now the exam is same, the test is same, and the parameters are also same. Now, what they do internally is they may take some weightage more in one of the areas while selecting a student for AET versus in some other areas for AOS, because the way the structures work in those courses, right? But overall, if you see the high level parameters that they have given is kind of similar in nature. Number one is student has to be, in fact, student must be enrolled in Algebra 1 or higher at the time of application. It means when the student enters 8th grade in August, he or she should be in Algebra 1. That's number one. Number two, which is quite lenient coming from Academies of London as compared to TJ, because TJ is very strict on the grades. Academies of London final grade of C or higher in math and science courses in your all the grades in the middle school, sixth, seventh, as well as the first semester of eighth grade, right? So if your student is having a lower grade than this, then automatically when you try to register, they will not let you register, right? So these are the important criteria when you register in August, September timeframe. Now, on the entrance test, which happens in October, there are two pieces to that: writing assessment and the STEM thinking skills assessment. And I'll go through that in detail, what it means actually for the students who are taking the test. Writing assessment, this is basically a essay. They normally get a prompt. I have seen it's mostly scientific prompt in last so many years, since I think 2014. And it's a very, very typical pattern they ask, because it's a scientific essay. That means that they will give you a problem statement which will be related to science, and then they will ask you to do something about that. And you have to write your analysis and how will you go about solving that problem. What will you collect? What evidence will you collect, and things like that? And how do you present it to XYZ entity, right? It can be an NGO, a governmental organization, or some organization where they have to present their study. So it's a very, very typical pattern, and I'll show you an example prompt. But this is the rubric what they have given on their website. So if you go to, there is a link in the presentation. If you go to LCPS website, you will see a example prompt and the rubric, right? So my entire course, when we do the essay writing, we focus on this rubric, or all my evaluations on the students who write these essays are based on the same rubric that is used by Academies of London, right? Which means that every essay that they will turn in my course, they will get exactly the similar kind of scores in these 5 different parameters under this rubric, right? And I normally, on the trial day or the first class, I will explain students what each and everything means. But basically, it means that when you are talking about something in your essay, then you need to put in some examples. You have to have evidence in there, right? That you are just not talking up in the air. You have done something, some analysis that means something. And if there is limited evidence, you get 1 point. If you have more than 2 examples or 2 pieces of information, you get full evidence. Anything more than 2, you still get 2. But anything which is less than 1, you get a 0, right? So there are different portions in the response which are evaluated differently based on these 5 parameters. Now the example, one of the AET AOS essay topic is, this is an example, right? And most of the examples are around geoscience topics, right? Pollution, geo-energy, nuclear energy, um, declining bird population, species getting extinct, right? So so I have around 100 plus different topics from where they can come in. So that is another thing which I tell students to just read about a little bit during 3 months of my course, because most of the topics are around geo science, and this is one of the topics, right? Water pollution in lakes. And the way it works is that they will give you a prompt on the top, and then they will ask you 3 questions or 2 questions. Mostly it's 3 questions, sometimes it's 2 questions. Question number 1 is that if you have this problem, how will you investigate, right? So if think about a scientist, when you have a problem, you have to gather some evidence, right? What evidence would you gather, right? And then finally, what evidence will you collect? First thing. Then once you collect that evidence, what will you do with that evidence, right? How will you analyze it? That's second number question. And finally, you have done some research based on the evidence you collected, the research you did. Now, how are you going to present that research to either the local community or to NGOs or to governmental organizations, right? So they have to write about these 3 prompts in a paragraph. And normally they do that is, there is an introduction, there is a conclusion, and in between there is an answer to these 3 prompts. So it's typically I think 100 word kind of a. Give me a second. I'm just admitting people. Right. So it's basically an essay they have to write, and it's a timed essay, and I'll show you what the time restrictions are. But normally these are the kind of essays they are asked to write about. And I know it's a little heavy for them. What I have seen is most of the students who come to me, especially most of the students coming from India, they're very good in STEM, but writing scientific essay is where I have to spend a lot of time with them. This is where they need help, and that's in my experience from last two batches, and I believe it's not going to change. STEM is something which is easy, and I'll show you some of STEM questions also, which kind of STEM questions that come in, and they're very, very easy, just you need practice. This is little difficult for eighth graders or to be eighth graders to understand and to write in a kind of a way where they can actually explain what they mean by what they're writing, right? So this is where I am going to spend, even though I have 1 hour dedicated to STEM, 1 hour dedicated to essay, sometimes I spend more time on the essay, especially when you will see the scores are not improving over the course. I will obviously naturally spend more time over the essays. On the STEM, it's multiple choice, which is a tick mark. All the kids, they love multiple choice. 25% probability that you will get a right answer, even you just put any check mark anywhere. The topics are out of the box algebra, the spatial relational thinking, tech logic, and scientific thinking. So these questions are not typical math questions. A lot of parents ask me whether they come from algebra or geometry from the school. No, they don't. And I will give you some examples. They are very much out of the box algebra is that your practical algebra. You go to a shop, you get a 20% discount. That was a cost before discount. What is the price you're going to pay after the discount? Or you get 20% plus on the extra, you get an extra 5%. So very, very practical example questions they ask in out of the box. You color a cube, all the sides with red, and you cut that into slices. How many cubes will have sides, two sides with the red color, something like that, right? So these are the algebra question. Then the spatial relational questions are you put a thing and you rotate that 90 degrees, how will it look like, right? So there's a lot of questions that come around. You just change the position of an object, how will it look like, and they will give you some options, and you have to select an option. Tech logic, normally I have not seen a ton of questions here, but last year there were some AI related questions, like you are asking AI tool these questions, and there are three answers. What is going to be the fourth answer if I ask this question? And you have to deduce that what will be the next answer based on the last three answers, right? So they are just moving a little bit into it's not coding questions, it's not a core technology questions, very, very basic questions on how you think in a technical way. And finally, scientific thinking questions. These are also questions around nuclear energy, potential energy, kinetic energy. Again, very few questions. Most of the questions will be from A, B, and C. D, maybe one or two questions. So what happens is when the students take this test and when the results come, you will get whether your student is selected, waitlisted, or not selected. And after that, you will get a score sheet. What we have seen is the score assessment is between 260 to 300 based on the way the answers are given. And a score of, again, this is relative. Every year it changes. But even last year and this year, I have seen the score of 280. If you are 280 or more, you are more likely to get selected. 278 to 280 is mostly waitlisted. Anything less than 278 is not selected, right? But it can change. This is a relative percentile score, which they will share with all the parents after the test results come in April next year. So this is the example of the STEM questions. Again, like I explained, a solid cube, color blue on side, and then cut into smaller cubes. Now these are the questions not taught in the school, so it needs a little different thinking of how to solve these kind of questions. I remember when I was young back in India, we used to do a lot of text question book. I won't call it a regular textbooks, but these were like the logical ability, logical aptitude question books we used to do outside of our school. So these are those kind of questions, right? So the upper one is algebra question. Even though it looks like a geometry question, it is not. It's a pure algebra question. And the one below is basically, this is your scientific thinking. Again, there are some questions which will come in. In fact, this is a logical thinking question, right? So you have to deduce that this is a problem given to you. What do you think is the best answer? And sometimes what I tell my students is, this is not 1-0 kind of an answer. Sometimes there might be two good answers. You have to just pick the best answer. Now, even if you pick the second best answer, you are not going to get zero. You are still going to get something, because these kind of questions are very tricky in nature. First best answer will get you maximum marks. Second best answer will get you little less marks. Then there will be three wrong choices, totally wrong choices, right? A lot of questions just to confuse the students. They may have two good answers. One will be best and one will be a better answer. So you have to choose the best or better to score some marks. So long story short, this is what students will get. Two components. There are 33 multiple choice questions on the STEM thinking. They get 50 minutes to do that, which means around 1.5 minutes per question. And then there is a one writing assessment, which is for 40 minutes. So overall, if you see, it's a 90 minutes test. And there is a 3,500 character limit, right? It's not a word limit, it's a character limit, including the spaces, which means they have to write around 1.5 to 2 pages. And what will you see in this course is, especially for the trial students next week, when they submit me the essays, you will see the essays will not last more than 1 or 2 paragraphs, or they will not last more than half a page, right? So this is where we need to work, how to express your thoughts in writing in a proper professional way to write a scientific essay, right? So anything less than 3,000 is not good. I think the ideal limit is around 3,200 characters. Anything more than 3,500 is also not good. In fact, the test tool will not even allow you to enter more than 3,500 characters. So, sorry, I think this is not 40 minutes, this is 45 minutes. So overall, the time is 95 minutes. No calculators, no spell checkers, no, they don't worry about punctuations, spelling checks, and all that. Um, Again, one word of caution to the parents here. What I have seen in my last batch was some students were using AI tool, especially when in my course, they were using AI tool like ChatGPT and writing and writing these essays and throwing at me, right? I easily figure out it's an AI based essay, right? I normally recommend students, and I remember there were like a couple of students who were doing it regularly. Again, the help from parents I will need is that I will try my best from my side to tell you guys in advance that is happening, and that is what I did my last batch also. But still, there are some kids who are smart. They know that we can just ask ChatGPT, give a prompt, get a very good answer, and submit, and work done, right? And that may be initially help you getting better in my class, like you will see very good scores and things like that. But eventually, when it comes to the test, you are not going to get ChatGPT. You're not even going to get internet there. It's going to be a room. You're going to sit in. You're going to type in what comes to your mind, right? So this is what I tell the students. Word of caution for the parents, this happens, right? And if that happens, I will be very blunt. I will tell you this is happening. You'll have to please talk to your child, and I will also talk to them privately in my class, right? We should not allow them to use this. And I can easily find out, I have a tool to figure out that whether it is written by AI or it is written by an actual child. Okay, regarding this program, I will just take maybe 5 more minutes and then I'll open up for questions. This program is starting in July. So we are going to start actually next week with first trial, right? But the actual course still starts in July. So even though the students who are taking the first trial next week, they will start in July. There will be one test day, one review day per week. The test will be on Monday, which will be virtual. And the review will be either Wednesdays or Thursdays. And let me show you my next slide. So what will happen is after the trial, if you decide to enroll, you will have to pick one of the batches. Batch one is Monday, Wednesday batch, and batch two is Monday, Thursday batch. So on the Mondays, it will be a virtual mock test. It's optional for students to join that class or that meeting that I'll handle through Google Meet, but I would encourage students to please, please, please join that, because in my experience, I have seen students who don't join the Monday test, they never do that test for that week, and then they procrastinate and it never happens, right? So if there is a genuine conflict, that then I understand they can submit or turn in their test after Monday or whenever they want, 1 to 2 days before coming to the class. But if they can spend that 90 to 9, it normally take 90 minutes, but 90 to, let's say, 120 minutes, half 1.5 hours to 2 hours on Monday with me during the tests, right? That would be recommended. Only serious conflicts, they have an option to say, okay, we will take the test after Monday, maybe on Tuesday or maybe on Wednesday, right? So I'll work one-on-one with you if there are conflicts, but this is what my recommended schedule is for the students who would like to enroll. Well, the course is same, right? So pick either Wednesday or pick either Thursday in-person class, which is going to work for the student. This is a typical batch cadence. What happens is that we start the week on Monday, which means Monday there will be test release, which will be around 5:40 in the evening, and then the students will have to the students who are on with me on that call on Monday, they'll have to take the test there itself. So from 5:45 till 7:45, they will take the test. They will turn in before logging off. So it means that they will write the essay, they will do the STEM test, and they will log off only after turning in the test. For genuine conflicted students for Monday, they will also get the test in their Google Classroom. They can turn in next day. Or for Thursday students, they can also turn in by Wednesday. Only for the students who could not turn it on Monday and because there were conflicts. Then there is a deadline because I also have to review the STEM test. They are automatically graded. So as soon as they turn in, they will know their score. The essays are graded by me, so it takes time. So that's why I recommend students to turn in at least 1 or 2 days before their actual class so that they know the things they work on. Because I give comments on each and every paragraph, specifically very detailed comments to the students. They will have to read that before they come to the class so that they understand what I was trying to tell, right? That is why I need them to follow this cadence very clearly, that they have to turn in at least 1 to 2 days before the class. And finally, the class happens, which is either on Wednesday or on Thursdays. And then all of us, we come here and we discuss about the STEM questions and the essay. And initially, you will see we'll spend a little bit more time on the essay because figuring out what template and what to put in that template takes a little time. And slowly, once kids get into habit of writing good essays, we'll focus more on STEM, right? So it will be little essay heavy in the beginning, and then it will become kind of 50% each STEM and essay when mostly in August, September timeframe. So what is the curriculum in this course? There's going to be 12 mock tests, almost 50% time to STEM. Again, 4 types of questions. And then 50% of our time will be dedicated to scientific essays. There are some books which I already shared. They were around spatial thinking. And then there are going to be some online resources that I will also share with the group. They're again optional in nature. I have, through these 15 tests, if you multiply this, sorry, the 12 tests, these are 12 tests, and I have another 3-4 more tests which students can also take at their own pace, right? I will release it to them. But my classes will be based on this main 12 mock test. Plus, I do give students extra topics and they can do their own. Only for interested students or the students who need some more help, I actually publish, but I don't mandate that for every student. I mandate that only for students who need help, right? So there will be some more material also outside of these 12 tests. But these 12 tests are compulsory for everyone to take. And these are the ones we are going to review in our Wednesday or Thursday classes. So what I believe is that the extra information that I'm giving around books and online tests is optional because most of the questions that I'm going to give are more than enough, right? Most of the topics on the essays and most of the STEM questions are more than enough. The classes are going to be held at our home. Now, this might change based on the interest I will get. And if there are a lot more students than I can handle at home, I might move. The move will not be far. It will be maybe 10 minutes from our house only. So it will be around this area only. I don't see that's going to happen this year. But in case there is interest, there is, there are like more than 12 to 13 kids in the batch, I might move that particular batch in around this area. Again, 5 to 10 minutes, not that far. This is how it looks like. You guys have seen this. I have shared in the WhatsApp as well. So I will not go through it uh, date by date. Only thing is that it's going to start July first week. So the week 1 is basically the trial class. So whoever is taking trial this coming Monday, they will not have to come on week 1. But after the enrollment, they will start from week 2 onwards. Same thing for the July 3rd trial. They will not have to come on July 10th. The actual classes start on 16th and 17th. There are no classes week on the week of August the 4th and August the 11th. So there is a 2-week vacation here, summer vacation before the school starts. So first 15 days of August, there are no classes. So what to expect next? And I believe this is the last slide. All the trial students will receive a Google Classroom invite. I have seen the June 16 students have already got there, but 3 of them have not accepted. So I'm gonna direct message those parents who still have not accepted the invites. Please accept the invite, especially the June 16 students, because you are going to get test either today or tomorrow. The students will receive 2 assignments via Google Classroom. This is how it looks like. I'll just open up my Google Classroom, and you will see that they will see 2 assignments here in the classwork, and I'll show you some of my old assignments here. So all they will see is, for example, they will see something like this. A week 1, 1 essay, and then 1 STEM mock test. So they will, so the students who are taking the trial coming Monday, they will see the test most probably tomorrow. So make sure, please enroll in Google Classroom if you have not. And the ones who are coming in July, I will send you invites maybe later this week. Now, important thing is this is the first test. It will not be timed. I don't want to, I just want the natural response. I want them to take their own sweet time and solve the problem, both the STEM, which will be still multiple choice, as well as the essay. Again, I would like them to take their own time. Don't, my recommendation to the parents is tell your students that, tell your kids that don't search around or research too much while writing the essay, right? Don't do that, right? I might, so what I'm going to do is I will give some topics. I'll send a list of topics today, like 3 topics, and they can do the research. And maybe tomorrow I will send the test. During the test, please don't do any research, do all your research before. And that's what I tell the students also, which will get enrolled for my future classes. During the test, no research. All your research for all the topics, and I give them hints what kind of topics might come, and they have to research beforehand, not during the test, right? So tomorrow's whatever test I'm giving this week for next week's trial students will not be timed. I just want to see their natural thinking process. Right, with that, let's see if there is anything else. I have a list of FAQs, but I'm open for any questions. Let's see if you have any questions, and then I'll go back to FAQs if they don't answer some of those questions. Open up for questions.
Hi, Gurpreet. When is the actual test? Is it in December or Jan?
So the actual test happens in October and November. They will give you guys 3 dates to pick from. Mostly it happens on Saturdays. They will give you multiple slots per Saturday. So last year it was on October 27th, November 9th, and November 19th, right? And every Saturday they give you 3 or 4 slots, starting from 8 o'clock in the morning all the way till 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
One important piece is marked in yellow here. Personal email addresses, no school email addresses. Google Classroom does not work with school email addresses. And personal laptop or a MacBook, the school Chromebooks will not work. School Chromebooks don't work with Google Classroom. And I faced this problem last year. First day, a lot of students, they come with their school Chromebooks, and then they cannot actually log into Google Classroom. It's blocked, right? So what happens is that they have to write emails to me. the experience is not good, right? I cannot comment, I cannot rate their essays. Nothing can be done without Google Classroom. So I expect the students who are coming on Monday next week, um, I think most of them already has their personal email address. Again, students' email address, not parents' email address. I have seen a lot of students come in, they cannot log into their parents' email address. It means they cannot open Google Classroom in my class. That's also a blocker, right? So give whatever email address you are using, please make sure the student have access to that email address, and the laptop is personal laptop, not the school laptop. And then the scratch pad along with pen and pencil, that's the only requirement for the class.
So with it, iPad is fine, correct? If you don't have laptop.
iPad is it's very difficult to type in. So they will have to take the test. So are you saying that for test they will take it on laptop? When they come over, they will come with an iPad?
Yeah, yeah.
That will work because I don't expect them to work on their device when they're in the class, but I want them to be able to take the test on a personal laptop where they can type easily.
Oh, thank
Sure. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll just going to go through the FAQs real quick and just give me a shout out if you have a question.
I think a bunch of us raised hands.
Oh,
Sam,
okay,
do you want
sorry.
to go
I did.
first?
Yeah. Please go ahead. I can't see the raised
I think
hands here.
Samya was before me, so I'll let
Okay.
her go.
Yes,
Yeah,
Soumya.
hi. The question I had was uh, the essay part, right? So you basically teach like focus on 12 essays. Is that how it works? Because there's 12 tests they take, and you just debrief those essays, and you coach them like essentially on 12 essays.
Right. So no, it doesn't work exactly like that. So if you see I will actually give them more than 100 topics to research, right? Mostly not all 100, but 50 of them are very important. They will have to research. And mostly if you see the essays, it's very focused template they have, very focused scoring pattern they have, right? The criteria. So even though we are going to test based on these 12 essays, but they will actually learn to answer any essay if they have studied for those 50 different topics that I normally give to them during the course, right? So if I will pick those essays myself, around 12 essays from those 50 topics, but students will have to do at least investigate about those 50 different topics, 50 to 100, but I will keep it simple. Let's make it 50.
Got it. One quick follow up. So you mentioned earlier, most of the kids are pretty strong at STEM, but then they struggle at
Right.
the essays. In that case, what about the parental involvement when it comes to essays? How where should we keep that limit? Not help at all. How does that work?
Right. So normally whenever I see student not, so if you see the first week, second week, third week, you will see, the essays are not that great. In fact, I might not even score their first essay before the trial class. But as they go fourth or fifth week, I will actually personally tell you if the students is not making progress, I might need some help, right? Most of my comments are there in Google Classroom for parents to see. So for example, if you go into Google Classroom of your child, you will be able to see all the comments that I have against each and every paragraph and essay. Then if I see the student is not working against those comments, I will reach out to you and then I will need help. But if the student is doing fine, is understanding what I'm trying to say, acknowledging and doing that, and next essay is better than the previous one, I may not need any help. I may not reach out.
Okay, thank you.
Can I go next?
Yes, please.
So my question's around, do you know in general what the percentage of acceptance rate is for by middle school or what the open slots are each year?
This is confidential. Even I don't know. Right. So
Okay, I thought so.
what I know is that it's a per school limit they have.
Mhm,
Some schools have more limit.
mhm.
For example, I know the school next to my door, for example, Stonehill Middle School, it has a little higher limit. It based on the overall where the school is, what kind of kids are in the school, what is the rating of the school. Some schools, for example, Stonehill Middle School, last year they were more than 25 students who were selected, right?
I
In
see.
fact, for TJ also, surprisingly, this year they got like more than 20 students selected in TJ, right?
Okay.
So there are some schools where you get more than 20, 25 kids getting selected. Some schools you will just get 5 kids getting selected. So it depends on school to school. They have kind of a budgeted model per school.
Okay. Another question I have is on STEM section.
Hmm.
Do you know how often that is updated? Because you touched on, that tech part that they're bringing in some AI related questions.
Right.
Are they evolving that piece as well?
See, the questions will change, especially the technology and scientific. Scientific doesn't change too much, but technology questions, which is there might be 3 or 4, and last year I believe there were 3 or 4 questions which were around AI, which were new to the students, right? Which were not there before. So yes, I expect this year is not going to change a lot from last year, but if you compare with 3 or 4 years prior, there will be change, especially in the technology questions as the technology keeps evolving,
Okay.
right? And I also keep on changing my, because I get a lot of feedback from my last year students also, so I will also update my course material to include these kind of questions which might come.
Mhm. Okay. I do have another question related to vacation, which I can reach out to you offline.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, Gurpreet. This is Swati.
Yes,
So,
Swati.
yeah. So the question is, if sometimes like kid will miss any class like due to sickness or any unavoidable situation, how we will like? I will not say like, is there any chance for makeup class? But the thing is, how we can cover that week's the test or any kind of lecture or material whatever you will provide for that specific week, how
Right.
you work on that.
Right. So there is no makeup class, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now because we have Wednesdays and Thursdays, there might be
Mhm.
Wednesday, maybe, again, depends on how many students. I don't want to have more than 15 students in my class, very frankly. So if there are 15 students already listed on a Thursday, I will not have a Wednesday missed student come over Thursday. But sometimes it might work. But overall, the principle, there's no makeup class. If the student misses the class, the test is already there in the Google Classroom. I tell the students to take the test. They are still going to get the grade on the STEM. They're still going to get my evaluation, even though they missed the test due to some unwanted or some reason that was not under their control. They
Mm.
will still have the evaluation. They will still have the STEM results. Now, what happens is that if the student is doing good, right, even after 1 or 2 misses, I see the progress. There's no point of worrying even 1 or 2 classes missed, right? If the student is not doing good, then you will hear from me, and I'll have to work with you, and we'll have to figure out how to make that work.
Mhm.
Sometimes I cannot promise, but sometimes last year I had to ask some students to come on Sunday mornings as well, right?
Ah, okay. Yeah.
In case I don't see progress.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And one more question. Right now, you have three different, like you gave us three different options, like 16th of June for
Right.
specific students who are taking vacation, and other two dates are like 3rd of July and 9th of July, right? So, is there any, like, are you making these three different batches according to those groups, or it will be like,
No, there will be 2 batches only, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Thursday. So this is
okay,
just the trial class. I want a lot of kids were not available on July first 2 weeks, right? So
okay,
that's why this is the date. Otherwise, it's going to be either Monday, Thursday or Monday, Wednesday,
got it. Thank you.
right? And then I think there was a question in the chat: how many students are enrolled right now? 0, because right now this is all trials. After trials, enrollment will happen. But there are right now, I think 27 or 20, 26 students who are taking trials across these 3 dates.
So a follow-up question on that. So do you only pick certain students after this trial, or is it is it more like to see where the students are?
No, I don't do that. It's basically if students like the class, they want to enroll.
Okay.
It's first come, first serve. As soon as I hit 15 in one batch, I will stop. And that's why I have this year I'm not doing any marketing, much of the marketing. I already got 27, 28, and I think this is good to start, right? If even if I get 20 enrollments, it's going to be 10 per batch or 12 per batch. That's
Okay.
good enough to start for now.
Hi, no. Hi, this is Ashlesha here.
Yes, Aslisha.
Yeah. I have just one question to confirm. Like, it's okay to ask any doubts or question for the student in the class, or do we have to stay? Uh,
I'm just checking if Vihan can join and he can answer this question rather than me.
because
He is my previous year student, but of course, see, um, the way my class works is that I don't speak a lot. Even I'll tell you the way it works, right? I have a TV, I have a whiteboard, right? I just stand in the corner, right? I just project on the TV. And students, hey, Vihan is here. Let Vihan tell. I don't want to speak about this. Vihan, can you tell your experience? Like, how was the experience, and were you able to ask questions, or in general, was that a one-way kind of instructional class, or there was more of a discussion with other students?
Hello. My name is Vihan, and I took GeniusInYou's Academies and TJ class, and I got accepted into AET, AOS, and TJ. And this wouldn't have been possible without Gurpreet uncle. So he's a really good teacher. We can ask questions, and his answers are always like super helpful. And he's also really good at explaining stuff. So a lot of times I didn't know the answer, or I didn't even know how to do the thing, and he was really good at explaining stuff. So you can ask questions, and uh, it's a pretty fun class.
Right. And just to add to that, is I stand in the corner. The answers are also given by other students, right? So I wanted to in a discussion format. If someone knows the answer, they'll have to come and explain on the whiteboard themselves. So this is just not instructional training that you don't know the answer. This is how to solve it. I let kids, and I have seen that they learn more from each other than from me, right? And I let them, for example, kid number one knows the answer. I want him or her to explain the answer. So that way, they know how to explain also their answer, and that's what is very important for the magnet schools, because what you write in the test is basically what's going into your mind. Getting the answer is not as important. Explaining how you got that answer is more important, and that's exactly what I do in my class, where they themselves explain how they got to that answer. Does that make sense?
yeah, thank you.
And I had another question.
Hmm.
So during the AOL and TJ tests before them, are we allowed to research during the tests or not?
Not at all.
Okay.
Gurpreet, one quick question.
Yes, Dheeraj.
The Monday is the virtual test usually,
Yes.
right? So 12
Yes.
Mondays, 12 virtual test. That's all the students are taking it together, or they take it at their own time? I just didn't get that point.
No, so my recommendation is they take it together during that 2-hour slot that I'll give from 5:45 to 7:45 on Monday, right? So there will be a Google Meet invite every week to the students. They'll have to log in. I will be there. They have to take the test during that time, right? In case there are some conflicts, for example, they have sports or some other things which they have to miss on Monday, then they can take at their own pace and time, but they have to take the test at least 2 days before coming to the class. So for Wednesday class, I'm okay getting their submissions by Tuesday because I have to grade them. For Thursday class, they will have till Wednesday morning they have to submit the test.
Okay.
Right, but again, as I'm telling you, I have seen the initial days, it's very important to get into this cadence Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, because once you miss the test keeps on piling up. They are going to come every week, and these are not only the 12 tests. I am actually giving them some extra ad hoc tests in between as well, so they keep on piling up. If they don't take the test on Monday, and I don't get any submissions and I see this pattern happening, I'm going to reach out to the parents, tell them that this is happening, you will have to help me out here, because answering these tests or submissions on time is very important.
Okay. So there's more work that is given during the week that they have to do as well, right? It's just not the test and the
Research work. So research work, right? So for example, if they have, this is how it works, right? So next week you are going to get a test. These are the 5 things that you will have to research about. The essay will come from one of the topics from these 5 topics. So they will have to do some, they will have to spend some time research the 3 to 5 topics per week.
Okay.
Right? STEM, no work. STEM, they don't have to do any more work. Whatever I'm doing in the class is or in the test is more than enough.
It's a part of the
I
challenge.
have a question. This is Anish
Mhm.
here. I had used my email address for my daughter. She has one email address. How do I update it now?
You have all, so your daughter is coming on Monday next week.
That's correct.
Okay, just give me the right email address. I will update.
Thank you so much.
Right.
I had a question. So the class on the 16th, is it in person at your house or is it online?
Yes, it's in person.
All right. And do you have any recommendations, like one major topic to research over the summer?
Not over the summer. Actually, I'm going to send some topics today itself.
Okay.
I will give you guys 3 topics, and the essay that is gonna be released tomorrow or day after tomorrow will be based on one of those topics.
Okay.
Right? So it's not going to be so many topics at once. Just
Yeah.
3 topics. Research about those topics now, and when you take the test, please don't research during that time. That time just write and turn in, and then we'll discuss more in Monday's class.
Okay. And what are the major topics that like are usually covered during the test? Like,
Mostly they are scientific topics. Unlike TJ, which has a math test essay, Academies of Loudoun is more like scientific essays. The topics are like nuclear energy, pollution, geoenergy, some tsunamis, extinction of birds and species and things like that, right? Very, very much related to the geographical, scientific kind of essays. And I'll give you a list of topics you will have to research. There are going to be more than 50 topics, but once you know a little bit about the topic, you will be able to write that in the template that I'll share, because the questions are not going to change. The pattern is same. This is a problem. What evidence will you collect? How will you use that evidence to do your research? How will you present? Mostly the questions are the same 3 kind of questions, but topic keeps on changing, right? So as long as you know about the topic, you will be able to answer the essay.
okay, thank you.
Do we have any more hands up? I can see them here. Let's see. Any more questions? Right. And one last important thing, I know some of the students will be taking vacation during the summer, right? And that's why I have this, give me a second, let me add. I have this trial coming next week, right, for those students. But please work with me once the trial is over. Work with me. Tell me when they will not be available. Things like that. There are no plans to record the classroom. I know there were some requests. Will you record? No, there will not be any recording available. But yes, the tests are going to be available. So if the student is absent, then please work with me. I just want to make sure they get the feedback, they get the test. Yes, they will miss the class that week when they're not here, but they will be having the test, the grades, the recommendations, all the feedback in Google Classroom. But please tell me in advance if the student is going to miss a particular week. Initially, it's a very light course. It's okay. But from August onwards, when the school starts, we are also going to go a little bit higher on the pace. So I expect all the students to be in this, especially September, late August, September onwards. Please avoid missing any of these classes, especially before the actual test day. Right. So those will be very, very important classes, because we are going to do a lot of repetitions there. Right. Initially, maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks here and there is okay, because it's a summer vacation and I will also start very light. Okay, any more questions? If no more questions, let me. Okay, I will cancel the recording now. But guys, reach out to me. Call me, message me over WhatsApp in case you have any more questions, right? And then I'm eager to see all the students who are joining me next Monday. Look forward for those students who have opted for this next Monday. Please look out for one assignment today, which will be a research topics, and then one test coming tomorrow or day after tomorrow, right? So I'll give you a test based on the topics. I'll give you a couple of days to research on those topics and then take the test, and then we'll talk more on Monday. Okay, then guys, thank you very much for joining this call, and happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gurpreet. It was really useful.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.